As a homeowner, at some point you may want to take a light switch and add a receptacle next to it, or add a new receptacle to a room or a ceiling light fixture. For each of these projects, you'll need an electrical box, and depending on the code requirements in your area, they could be metal, fiberglass, or plastic. In this video, thanks to the Home Depot Seeds program, we're going to take a look at some of the offerings from Feit Electric. But first, I wanted to share the news that we crossed over 10,000 subscribers. So what does that mean? A new car from YouTube? No. A nice plaque that I can put on the wall? No. But I did get this nice looking email. And while the email may not mean a whole lot, what does mean something to me is the fact that you, my viewers, have taken the time to watch my videos, to subscribe, and just to help support us. And for that, I want to say a very special thank you. Hope we can count on the support of you, your friends, and your families as we continue to grow this channel. What we're looking at here is 3 of the popular Feit electric boxes. So let's start off by explaining what each one is for. These are for ceiling fixtures, and this one is meant for remodel work. That means you're going into a ceiling that's finished above. Maybe there's a second floor or the attic is finished. You don't have direct access to it. So you would have to put a hole in your ceiling, and this could attach via these 3 tabs and would stay mounted into the ceiling, and thus enabling you to mount a light fixture. The counterpart to that is where you can go up into the attic or the floor above, and you could nail this to the joist. Provides additional support and also more cubic inches. This is 20 cubic inches versus this one that's 18, even though they are both the same circumference of 4 inches across. Electrical boxes for light switches and receptacles generally come in a 14-inch cubic size and a 20-inch cubic size. The advantage of the 20-inch is if you're using GFCIs, or if you have a lot of wiring that's coming through the box, then this makes it easier to work with those. The problem with these is sometimes you don't have that depth in between 2 adjoining rooms. So that's where the 14-inch comes in handy. These are all great products when conduit is not required in your jurisdiction. The box has 4 tabs on it, and these just push in, and all you do is you grab your cable and you push it into the box. By the way, if you curl the cable as you push it in, then it will curl on the inside and make it easier for the cable to come out as opposed to catching on one of the other tabs. And because of the way this is designed, the cable doesn't pull out, so there's no need to secure it. You just push it in, and it basically gets clamped into place. It's the same feature with the round, whether it's the one that's surface mounted or the one that gets nailed in. The advantage to this round one is that you have 6 places to make your connections, as opposed to only 4 with the receptacle switch type box. How does the Feit ceiling box compare to the blue brand that's also available? Well, obviously they'd be the same diameter. We've noted that this has 6 ports for making your cable connections to, as does this brand. They include a set of nails, though the finish on these nails is a lot nicer. And it really comes down to a preference of colors. This is UL rated, whereas this is ETL rated, but they're both perfectly safe to use in your home electrical system. Here we have the Feit for switch and receptacle, along with the blue. And as you see, they pretty much look similar in shape and size. A little different on The side, this is more rectangular in shape. Same number of ports for putting in your cable, same number of tabs for securing the box to your wall structure. Installation is the same for both units, and they both have the same equal amount of flex, and of course they are both approved for home wiring installation. To install the ceiling box, you'll need to cut a 4-inch round hole in your ceiling, and the best way I found to do that is to purchase a hole saw. This will probably set you back at least $25, plus there's the cost of the auger, and then you need a drill to do it with. You could, of course, manually cut out a hole, but you don't want to end up cutting the hole too big because you only have so much of a lip here, and if you go beyond that, then it's just going to fall into your ceiling. The one gotcha that I've noticed with these is that where the screws are, there's a bit of a protrusion, and the 4-inch hole, let's see if I can show you this, doesn't account for that tab. So what you're going to have to do is, when you go to dry fit this in, you're going to have to notch out for this part of each of the attachments. And don't worry, these tabs are out of the way prior to installation. You just turn the screw, and then they fold out, and then they start tightening down against your drywall or ceiling material. So that's about the only gotcha with these, is that you have to allow for these corners to fit because they're just slightly beyond the 4-inch circumference of the hole saw. With the receptacles, you trace out the box, not including these tabs. You avoid tracing over these tabs because then the whole box will just fall into your wall. What you want to do is the flat sides. That's what you trace on your wall, and that's what you're going to cut out. And you can do that with a variety of tools. I like using a multi-tool oscillating saw, as I find that to be very versatile and useful when cutting out rectangular holes into a wall. By the way, these can be used as junction boxes where you bring in wires, make a connection. Maybe you need to take your power and split it off in 2 different directions or even 3 different directions. You can do that with this box, and then you just put a lid over it and secure it. The same thing with the square box. Do your wiring and then put a flat lid over it, and you have your junction box. I find the Feit electrical boxes well built, easy to use, and worth using in your next project. If you found this video interesting or useful, give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Join the subscription team. Let's get to 20,000. And as always, thank you ever so much for watching.